Well, I'm glad that we've had a lot of fun in the last few minutes, because I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know the fun kind of stops right about here. And that's not because I want my stream to not be a fun place, but a thing happened recently that hits a little too close to home. Like, actually, unironically, too close to home. And when I say that, I mean, like, literally, this is close to where I live. So, apparently, there was yet another school shooting, but this one happened in Georgia, about an hour away from where I live. So we're going to go over into the New York Times article about it real quick to see what, because this one has live updates. So it was updated as of 45 minutes ago, so this is very recent information. Colin Gray, the father of a 14-year-old who was accused of killing 2 teachers and 2 students at his Georgia high school, was arrested and charged on Thursday with second-degree murder in connection with the state's deadliest school shooting, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said. In addition to 2 counts of second-degree murder, Mr. Gray, 54, was also charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter and 8 counts of cruelty to children, according to the statement. A news conference said that on Thursday night. And he was charged with being directly connected with the actions of his son and allowing him to possess a weapon. He declined to offer much more detail. So let's take a look at what happened here. And I should have another... There we go. Oh, God damn it, Wapo. Stop. There we go. Where is the beginning of this one? 3 hours ago. Let's go to the... Try to get to the beginning of the article real quick. September 5th. This was earlier today. I want to go in a chronological order. So we need to go... There we go. Now we're at the beginning. All right. September 4, 2004. There was a lockdown alerted on a flashed on a screen at Stephen Crayenbull's classroom at Appalachia High School as the gunfire started. Mr. Crayenbull, a world history teacher, said he heard at least 10 shots on Wednesday morning as the deadliest episode of school violence in Georgia history unfolded around the corner from his room. The shooting at Appalachia High School on Wednesday took place in a rural, unincorporated area between the cities of Atlanta and Athens in Georgia. The school, where a 14-year-old student fatally shot 4 people and injured 9 others, according to the authorities, is on the edge of Winder, which is home to about 20,000 people. The city is roughly 50 miles northeast of downtown Atlanta and about 20 miles left of Athens. So, to give an example, not to dox myself, of where this is in relation to me, let's go ahead and see here. That is 1 hour. That is a singular hour away from where I am. I could literally go down to where this happened right now, and it would not take me more time than a couple episodes of anime to get there. Like, that is too fucking close, and that is too fucking terrifying. The scary thing about this, though, to me, is that somehow there was a dad somewhere that was like, hey, I think it's a good idea to give my 14-year-old a gun. As somebody who earned riflemanship awards when I wasn't even a teenager yet, as somebody who learned how to handle a gun really early on in life and went to competition for shooting, don't give a fucking child a gun. What purpose does a child have to have a goddamn gun? It makes no fucking sense. It makes no goddamn sense. There is no fucking world, not a single fucking world, where your child should own a firearm. The purpose of a firearm, from top to bottom, is to kill something. That is what it does. That is its purpose. That is what you use it for. Some Brandon says hunt supper. No. So what you do when you're hunting, okay? What you do when you're hunting is you hand your child a rifle and you use a rifle. Ideally, you hand them something a bit smaller, like a .22, so it's not going to knock out their shoulder. And you go out and you go hunting with your kid. And then when you're done, you take the gun away from them. That's what you fucking do. You don't let them keep the fucking gun. Absolutely not. That's not their weapon. They're not an adult. They shouldn't have the fucking thing. So Jessa says not an AR-15. The AR-15 thing doesn't fucking matter here. It doesn't matter. An AR-15 is just a 9mm rifle. That's all it is. All of the fucking scare about an AR-15, it doesn't fucking matter. There are AR-15s that look like wooden hunting rifles, and there are AR-15s that look like the shit they put into the military, and they are the same gun internally. The AR-15 is not the conversation piece for me right now. It's the fact that there is a fucking parent who, for some stupid fucking reason, decided to give his son a gun. I can't think of a fathomable reason why that's a good fucking idea. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. At all. Said, also don't give anybody who's mentally unstable a pew-pew. Yeah, and if there's one set of people who are mentally unstable, it's children. I'm sorry. There is no mentally stable child. To be a child is to be in a state where your brain is still developing. Your hormones are firing rapidly. That is the definition of childhood. Like, I'm sorry. No. And to anybody who's just like, my dad gave me a gun when I was 13 years old, and I turned out fine. No, shut the fuck up. I don't care that you individually decided not to go on a rampage when you individually, as an irresponsible child, got a gun. Don't fucking care about you. It's not a point to me. I'm talking about the population as a whole. Because when you have enough population as a whole people that get handed guns when they are fucking children, you're going to get people who make childlike decisions with those fucking guns. Decisions that they should not be fucking making. Continuing on in the article. Brian Garcia heard what sounded like gunfire coming from outside his math class at Appalachia High School. A lockdown alert flashed on a screen inside the room. Following protocol, the students and teachers ran to the back of the class and huddled in the corner. Federal investigators said on Wednesday that the suspect in the shooting at a Georgia high school had been interviewed more than a year ago by local law enforcement officials in connection to threats made of an online school shooting. The authorities were led to the suspect, Colt Gray. This Harry Potter school shooter name-looking ass. The father named his son after a fucking gun. And then the FBI investigated him when he was 13, and the dad was just like, it's been a year, son. It's time to hand you a pew-pew. This is what you're named after. What the flying shit? Who? Who thinks that's an okay thing? Fucking hell. Otter Waffle says the kind of dad who gives a gun to their kid sounds like a dad who would bring their kid to therapy. Yeah, shittiest dad of the year. Let's name your kid after a gun. They get FBI investigated at the age of 13, which means they're probably influenced by you to say some really stupid shit. And then, of course, we get to the ripe old age of 14, where they go and take matters into their own hands. Old Gus says, if you give one person a gun, chances are things are going to be fine. You give 300 million people guns, you're about to find out exactly what percentage of the population solves their problems with violence. Yeah. Said, who lived next door to a family who didn't lock up the shooting devices when my kids were little? That's super not okay. Yep. The authorities were led to the suspect, Colt Gray, who was 13 at the time, after the FBI's National Threat Operations Center received several anonymous tips in May of 2023, reporting threats that had been posted online on a gaming site warning of a school shooting in an unidentified location and time, according to statements from the FBI field office in Atlanta and local government officials. The threats included photographs of guns. Investigators from the sheriff's office in Jackson County, Georgia, interviewed the suspect and his father. The FBI said his father told investigators that he had hunting guns in the house, but said that his son didn't have unsupervised access to the weapons. The suspect also denied making the threats. The FBI said that the Jackson County authorities alerted local schools for continued monitoring of the suspect, but it was unclear if officials at Appalachia High School, where the shooting took place, had been among those informed. The school is in Winder, GA, in neighboring Barrow County. The FBI, in its statement, said that investigators lacked probable cause to arrest the teenager or to take any additional law enforcement action on the local, state, or federal levels. In a separate statement, Janice G. Mangum, the sheriff in Jackson County, said that a thorough investigation was conducted, but the gaming site threats could not be substantiated. Ms. Mangum cautions residents to be careful of posts containing misinformation circulating online. Said, my phone is blowing up with messages from people about social media postings about other possible incidents. To my knowledge, there is no list anywhere indicating this. So let's keep going. But again, if you're just going to give a fucking gun to a child who's had a federal investigation about them, it's baffling. It baffles the mind, the kind of person that can think this is a thing that you should do. At all. They said, oh, free the guns, people. Next had 6 kids under 10, by the way. Oh my god. Let's continue. On the day she died, Christina Ermey brought in desserts and other treats that she had baked for her math students at Appalachia High School to celebrate her 52nd birthday, which came on August 24th. By the day's end of at the school in Winder, GA, that typically kind gesture seemed like a thought from another world, after a 14-year-old student shot and killed her and 3 others in the deadliest episode of school violence in Georgia history. Also killed were Richard Aspinwall, 39, a math teacher who was also the school's football team defensive coordinator, and 2 other 14-year-old students, Mason Shimmermorn and Christian Angelo. Jordan Rushing, who leads the school's math department, said that Mr. Aspinwall and Mrs. Ermey were beloved by their students. Mr. Aspinwall was known for his kind and calm demeanor while teaching math, a subject that can be very stressful, and Miss Ermey's life experience as an immigrant from Romania helped her bond with her students, some of which were not fluent in English. Actual Jake, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate you coming in here. Unfortunately, we're currently talking about the school shooting that happened an hour away from my house. So, I'm glad you guys are here. I appreciate you all being here. Unfortunately, we're talking about bad shit. So, I hope you guys are okay. But I'm going to keep on trucking forward, talking about bad shit. So, yeah. Said that is uncomfortably close. It is uncomfortably close. It is uncomfortably close that I can just drive to the side of a school shooting right now. And it wouldn't take any time. Eris Wolf, Pontac Jones, and Dan Yankees, thank you all for the follows. I appreciate it a lot, every single one of you. For those who are here, if you want to support my channel and what I do, we are currently sponsored by a place above me, and also you can hit the ! Dono thing. That's as far as I'm gonna go. Even that felt wildly uncomfortable the more words that came out of my mouth about supporting the channel while talking about this shit. So I'm gonna stop talking about that, and I'm gonna start talking about this, because the other one felt like I was digging myself further and further into a fucking hole. At least 9 others were injured. Law enforcement officials said that the victims taken to the hospital were expected to make a full recovery. The gunman has been charged with 4 counts of felony murder. His father, Colin Gray, has been charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of second-degree murder and 8 counts of cruelty to children. Yeah, I feel like if we start prosecuting parents when their kids go on fucking rampages, maybe fewer parents are gonna be this fucking stupid. Maybe fewer parents are going to be this fucking stupid in how they handle their guns around their kids. Maybe, just maybe. So what about criminal negligence? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. The suspect was booked overnight in the Gainesville Regional Youth Detention Center. That facility in Gainesville, which serves some counties northeast of Atlanta, is roughly 30 miles from Winder, where the shooting took place. Law enforcement officers were led to the accused shooter more than a year ago after threats to shoot up a middle school were made on Discord, according to a sheriff's office report obtained by the New York Times. The boy, who was 13 at the time and living in Jackson County, GA, denied making those claims, and investigators could not definitively link him to the posts. Man, I wonder if he denies making those claims now. I wonder if he denies that now. Stumping Path says, "But my child is an angel. It was the deep state trying to get to Trump that investigated my child." Yeah, of course. Of course. This shit gets me angry. Like, this shit gets me really fucking angry. Georgia's loosened its gun laws in recent years. When Governor Brian Kemp signed a law in 2022 that allowed most Georgia residents to carry a firearm without concealed carry permits, he celebrated the expansion of gun rights in the state. The law makes sure that law-abiding Georgians, including your daughters and your family too, can protect themselves without having to ask permission from the state government. Spider Chowski, thank you for the follow. So this one I feel weird about, right? So, on the one hand, I don't have a gun license in Georgia. I don't have a license to carry. So I can just take my 9mm and or my 22 or my rifle, and I can just walk outside with them perfectly fine. Now, I did have to undergo a background check when I got my weapons. I did have to do that, but I still feel like maybe it's perfectly reasonable to have some kind of licensing, like a small bit of licensing to carry around a weapon. I feel like that's still reasonable. I really do feel like that's reasonable. Metageta said, "Oh, for Pete's sake, the kid was super into school shootings." Yeah. Hey, Ravi, I'm sorry. You're a teacher. This may not be the best part of the episode to be here for, because we're talking about a school shooting that happened on Wednesday, an hour away from my house. So, I love you to death, Ravi. Please be careful of your own mental health. The deadliest episode of school violence in Georgia's history could have ended with even more bloodshed, if not for the school's newly installed security systems. The Wednesday shooting at Appalachia High School killed 2 teachers and 2 students, and injured at least 9 others, but the gunman may have been stopped from taking more lives after a staff member appeared to activate an alarm that triggered a police response. All the teachers at the school were equipped with an ID badge on a lanyard that had a panic button. What? I don't know. No. I'm not fucking continuing that sentence right now. What kind of a fucking dystopia? What kind of a dystopia do we live in where teachers have a bunch of ID badges with panic buttons on them? What kind of a dystopian fucking world do we have to live in where that's necessary? Who was it? God, there was some fucking Republican recently, in the last 24 hours, that made a tweet saying that, God, what was it? Saying that school shootings are just a normal fact of life. We need to be focusing on employing more security at the schools, because the school shootings, they aren't gonna go away. There's nothing we can do about them. Like, this is the environment these assholes created. This is the environment that they fucking made. What do you expect is gonna happen when you're sucking the dick of the NRA? Ravi says, "We're in the process of testing that very piece of tech in my school district." It was JD Vance? That doesn't fucking surprise me that it was JD Vance. That doesn't surprise me at all. Because the solution that JD Vance thinks up is going to be the one that pays for more guns, right? When you get more security personnel at schools, you increase the amount of money that the school needs to pay for that. Schools that are already severely underfunded. And then, on top of that, you of course have to pay for what else but more fucking guns in order to give the security personnel adequate weaponry to deal with the situation. And guess what? The likelihood that the security personnel is going to be able to adequately identify what needs to happen in any situation when they're in the middle of panic is not exactly the highest in the entire world. On top of that, what these people are effectively doing is going, we're not going to try to prevent the violence, because if somebody starts doing a school shooting, that means that people have already fucking died. That means that somebody's already fucking toast. They're not trying to stop the school shootings. They're trying to sell more fucking guns. That's the goal. That's the fucking goal, guys. The goal is to say, hey, the guns are the problem. More guns is the solution. The NRA is making a fuck ton of money, hand and foot. That's the fucking idea. This comes from Ravi. Colin Gray, the father of the school shooter of Colt Gray. Again, psycho-fucking-pathic to name your kid after a fucking gun and then look at what happens. Anyway, Colin Gray, the father of school shooter Colt Gray, has been arrested in connection with the tragedy of Appalachian High School. Colin bought the AR-15 for his son months after the authorities were alerted to the threats Colt made and had told his son he didn't have access to guns. He's been charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of second-degree murder. You know what's fucking weird? I could probably go on Facebook right now and go to local groups who are talking about this very same thing. And I bet you I'm going to find some psychopath who's actively defending this shit. Who's actively defending the father here. At least that's my bet. We're just gonna quickly search Appalachian High School and see what people are even saying about this. Oh, Facebook is being broken, and I can't even see comments on this shit. Interesting. Interesting. Let me see if there's any other way I can read this, because now I am convinced I'm gonna find some shit. Let's see here. Of course. Of course. Missed warning signs? Guys need to learn gentlemen good manners. Feeding anger into another person? If you're having a bad day, don't take it out on strangers. Get help. Talk openly about problems. 14-year-old guy didn't get proper mental education. I don't kill, but I do destroy things like Hulk. Things, not people. Can't replace people. It just sounds like somebody who's got fucking anger problems. For a teacher, have a one-on-one conversation with a student once a month. You know, I feel like just not giving the student a fucking gun would have solved that problem too, but you know, this... Man, what was it? There was a thing I read ages ago. Back when I used to be far more pro laissez-faire gun control, right? Again, I hand over fist to the idiom. There we go. Sorry. I'm not thinking properly because I'm angry. But there was a thing that I read a long time ago when I was getting in an argument with my my then roommate, where I thought that the problem with guns in the United States was a mental health issue. And then I saw the actual FBI statistics that showed that only 2 to 5% of anybody involved in a mass shooting actually has any prior history of mental health anything. Which means the problem is and has not been mental health. The problem has been access to guns and gun culture. The problem has been that from the fucking beginning. So those of us with mental health issues are more often the targets of gun violence, not the other way around. Yeah! People who have mental health issues tend to be the people that other people look at when they want to engage in violence. Typically. So the longest lockdown I went through lasted about 4 hours. My middle school was near a house with an active shooter. Thank God the shooter didn't move onto campus and no one at school was hurt, but it was still scary. Yeah, George Jackson, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. This one comes also from Ravi, from Ron Filipikowski, who you should be following on Twitter. Does a lot of good work. Rep Mike Collins says, very sad to confirm there have been 4 fatalities from the shooting at Appalachian High School. Many others wounded, but not all gun-related or life-threatening injuries. Some from efforts to flee danger. The suspect is in custody. Ron said he actually made it a point to include that not all the injuries were gun-related. Representative Mike Collins really wants you to know that not all the injuries were gun-related. Not all of them, no. Gotta fight for those gun rights. Very important. Very, very important. Very, very fucking agitating. When the suspect's family was evicted from their Jackson County home in 2022, sheriff deputies removed several weapons, including a black AR-15 rifle with a scope, the type of weapon used in Wednesday's school shooting, as well as boxes of ammunition. All of the weapons, which also included handguns and bows, were marked as released to owner. Now, here's the thing about the AR-15. The reason the AR-15 is so deadly has nothing to do with it being any particularly special kind of gun. It's the fact that an AR-15 is one of the simplest weapons to operate. It is one of the simplest weapons to operate, is one of the easiest ones to put in your hand, and just, it's point and click. Every gun, to a degree, is point and click, but an AR-15 is more point and click than more. Yes, isn't it the fire rate too? It's a semi-automatic. Jessa, the fire rate's identical to a pistol. It's a semi-automatic. The fire rate's the same. Like, the only reason that an AR-15 is any more special is due to it being more popular than other weapons and being very, very easy to operate. Lexi says, is running away from the gun somehow not gun-related? Gotta be. They definitely weren't fleeing an active shooter. They definitely weren't running for their lives. Definitely not gun. This is like when the VA says that your injury isn't service-related when it happened while you were in the service. Ay, ay, ay. The suspect's father, Colin Gray, told investigators from the Jackson County Sheriff's Department last year he didn't know anything about his son making online threats about a school shooting. He said, I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did, and then all the guns will go away. My guy, once the FBI is investigating you, maybe the guns should go away. Maybe they should go into a locked safe, and your child should never be present when you're opening the safe. Robbie says, in my 20 years of teaching, we've had one major lockdown because a student brought in a possibly dangerous item in his locker. About 2 hours in our classroom and another 3 evac out of the halls. Really exposed a few issues. Primarily that all the restrooms were in the potentially explodey parts of the school. The idiot says, I do believe it should be more difficult to get a gun. I agree with that. I agree with that. Christopher Tablant says, I think it has an automatic reminder at 1200 and a semi at 600 RPM. Usually, this is becoming almost any caliber widely popular. Skelly Toll says, I was scared for a while of going to school and that someone was going to try something. It was horrible, and I'm still so nervous about it today, even though I'm no longer in school. It doesn't help that I hear gunshots like once every 2 weeks near my house. I heard them today. I was down at the Georgia courthouse, not the Georgia Capitol courthouse, but a different courthouse that Saki and I were at, where I was trying to pay my property taxes, which turns out I wasn't able to pay because I don't owe them for another week or so, which I wasn't aware of. I thought I had gotten the bill, but apparently that was just an assessment. Anyway, I heard a bunch of gunfire just randomly while I was there, and that was fucking terrifying. Not at the location, but far away. And the Doppler effect happened afterwards, so you could tell it was going further away. So I don't know what that was. Could have been a car backfiring. Could have been a gun. Who knows? It's Georgia. Could be both. The shooter's father, Colin Gray, told a Jackson Sheriff's Department investigator that his son, then 13, had been picked on at school, according to an interview transcript. So the problems had escalated to the point where his finals were last week, and that was the last thing on his mind. The suspect has been charged with 4 counts of felony murder. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation has said that his first court appearance will be tomorrow at 8 a.m. The agency said that the complex investigation is ongoing. The officials expect to file additional charges. Biden, speaking in the rural town of Westby, Wisconsin, appeared focused on calling for gun control measures without alienating gun owners. He said, we cannot accept the carnage of gun violence anymore. He said, my dad is a hunter. I don't know a whole lot of deer wearing Kevlar vests. President Biden again called on Congress to pass on assault rifle ban and other gun control measures in the wake of the school shooting in Georgia. He said, we need more than thoughts and prayers. Oh yeah, that was the other thing that pissed me the fuck off. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the minute that this shit happened, The absolute nanosecond this shit happened went on with the thoughts and prayers shit on social media. I'm sorry. If you're a Republican right now and you fight very hard for gun rights, never say thoughts and prayers anymore, because all you are doing is signaling to everybody that you are just trying to do nothing so that the gun lobby can get more money. That's what you're doing. We can fucking tell. Anyway, I'm going to get my blood pressure under control, and I'm going to stop reading this, so I'm going to hand it to y'all. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I think it's pretty fucking obvious what I think. Insert end of video tagline here. Hey, just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who help keep me afloat and help keep this channel going. YouTube and Twitch are wonderful platforms, but at the end of the day, stability is not one of their strong suits. If you want to support my channel, then obviously Patreon is one of the best ways of doing that. Link is in the description. But I do want to personally thank everybody who has contributed to the channel. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Autumn and Angel, Nixie Chan, Mark Anthony, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. And everyone else who supports my channel and lets me do what I do full-time. This is a dream job of mine that I never believed that I would be able to take full-time, and with your help, I've been able to do it. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all are having a wonderful time. I will see you all in the next one, hopefully.